Welcome everyone to the Overwatch League Summer Stage Qualifiers in the East. I'm Vicky Kitty, and I'm back with Necra, and after that insane last banger, we still have so much more Overwatch coming for you.
I don't know how we follow that up, actually. I mean, like, the last two series of the day will certainly deliver, but after that one, I don't know. I don't know how that could ever get topped.
MCD was not having a good time. That was such an insane series.
No.
I highly recommend everybody who is now tuning in, who's going to be tuning in later, you need to look at that series. That was basically a APAC wrapped up in one game, so that was beautiful to witness. But again, we still got a lot more action for you guys. We got two more series to go, and we got our next match going to be O2 Blast versus Poker Face.
These are two contenders teams that are very hungry to get another win under their belt. We've got O2 Blast that are coming into this one week at 1-5 with two more matches ahead of them to be able to try to close the gap a little bit with a pretty lackluster stage so far. It's going to be their opponents today. They've got Poker Face, and then tomorrow they're going to be facing up against the Shanghai Dragons. But I want to talk about these new supports we're seeing in the backline, Vicky.
Yeah, we got Lego Lijiang coming in just a few days ago, actually. So this is the first time that O2 Blast is going to be able to take care of this back lineup here. See how this is going to go into their favor, because they definitely need a Necro. We were looking at the overall standings and where O2 Blast stands. They're sitting in 8th in the overall East standings, just right above Guangzhou Charge and behind Panthera. They basically have lost every series so far, minus that left field banger that came out of nowhere versus the Seoul Dynasty like 2 weeks ago, where they won 3-2. So seeing Lego and Lijiang coming in, it's also nice to know that Lego was on NT earlier on. He's actually playing versus his former teammate, Hidden. If you look at the current lineup that we have for Poker Face on the other side here, but just taking a look at what we got in store for us now.
Yeah, and O2 Blast, like, it doesn't surprise me at all that they're bringing in more talent into the roster. This has been the primary feeder team for the Overwatch League teams in the APAC region, and so to see them bring in some more talent to develop over the course of the rest of this season of Contenders, and even into the next one, it's going to be really exciting to see where those players go. But for the players on Poker Face, most of these players have seen the Overwatch League stage. Taking a look at players like Valentine, Muse, the Toronto Defiant, they lost Finale that went back up to the Overwatch League as well. But you talk about Hidden and the rest of this squad, like, they're still also Contenders royalty.
Yeah, Hidden coming in as well. We're looking at why Poker Face has been struggling, and it's the mixed match between Valentine and Victoria to see which of these DPS players want to rely on that Tracer. Well, with Hidden coming in after we said goodbye to one of our previous players here too, now we get to see him coming after Finale had left. The hit scan has to be filled up, and Hidden is going to be one of those great players to help out the rest of Poker Face, and they desperately need it too. We talked about O2 Blast. Well, look who's sitting on the bottom of the overall standings here in the East. It's going to be Poker Face.
And this is their last match of the stage. So they've kind of got to clutch up now, otherwise it's now or never, honestly, for this squad. But it stinks when they did lose a talent that was as proficient as Finale. It left a hole in their roster that could be felt, and the impact of that has been really hard for Poker Face to overcome. Hidden coming in last week, or even just yesterday for their match, did show up in such a big way. But when you match up against a DPS like Prophet on the other side, Prophet has been having some amazing performances as of late, whether it is with these long-range hit scan heroes that have started to become a bit more prominent as a flavor addition to a dive comp, Prophet showing up and maybe living up to the shoes we put him in for little PH over Prophet.
Yeah, he said, hold on, put that little P away. He is coming in full force with the Hanzo. Get to see the cute signs out in the crowd live in the WDG. They know, Necra. They know you're here.
These signs are actually for me. I love it. It's giving me so much life right now.
So cute here. The fans going to be able to cheer on from the crowd still while being able to watch the matches. Tonight's dinner is chicken. That was what the sign said right there with the Prophet sign. Just cheering on with Pikachu right next to it. All right, going into our very first map, we got Lijiang Tower coming up.
So this entire map pool, and knowing what these teams like to play, I feel like O2 Blast is a little bit favored. O2 Blast has been able to show us just a little bit more flexibility when it comes down to the compositions that they are willing to run. And when you look at Circuit Royale, that is going to take a completely different playstyle approach than to Lijiang that also requires a little bit more flexibility. Sometimes we end up seeing a bit more of the dive, sometimes we see the rush, sometimes it's even 3 different tank heroes coming out of a squad if you end up getting to all 3 points, but looking down the line, it's going to require a lot of flexibility coming in from a roster today.
Sometimes whenever I take a look at Lijiang Tower, I call it Lijiang Tower, especially seeing some of the plays that we have at the very beginning. Seeing the flexibility, I love how you highlighted that though, because we've seen O2 Blast play previously on this map. The Hanzo iteration, of course, the Mei, the Ram maybe perhaps too, after the action we got to see earlier on with the Junker Queen. It makes me excited to see some of the things that we may have in store for us here.
Yeah, and then when it comes down to where O2 Blast would like to go later, I've also seen like the Ashe or Cassidy. That's once again speaking to Prophet's prowess on those hit scan oriented heroes, as well as just kind of seeing a bit more of the Ramatra, which is a look I will say that we will probably see the most of coming out of Protect. Protect has been leaning more into the Ramatra rush and the team supporting that over the course of the last few weeks. And the Winston, it does not look as strong, but it's about the other pieces that would be supporting that Winston role that I think would give O2 Blast a bit of the upper hand. Poker Face on the other side of things, though, it's going to be that Tracer Sombra dive, the classic.
Nice nade in that backline of Poker Face. No follow just yet. Protect. Pop that Nemesis form just to clear some of that extra space. Mew's going to be able to just back up ever so slightly here, with the point being unlocked already. O2 Blast, with Protect falling incredibly low, having to back away. He gets hacked, and the follow-up from Valentine is able to clean that first pick here too. Sets up Poker Face as we do get a pause right away. Maybe some tech issues going down here after Protect was taken out, but it's nice to also highlight Valentine already at 76% on that pulse bomb. He gets him up online pretty quickly here and already off the rip in that first engagement, nearing that ultimate.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I really like Hidden coming into this roster, is that it allows Valentine to just focus on playing the Tracer.
Yes.
There is some DPS flexibility when it comes down to Hidden's hero pool. We got a chance to see that just a little bit yesterday, where they do have a little bit of that flexibility for Valentine to go like the Echo or the Sombra, and then Hidden to pick up the Tracer role. And it feels a little bit more fluid than what we have seen from Poker Face in the past, but the way that they got off to the strongest start is Valentine just sticking to that Tracer. So it doesn't really surprise me at all that he's already 67 with 70% towards a pulse bomb already after that first fight.
And seeing how that went down too, with Protect holding forward just a little bit, trying to take the aggressive positioning right there too, but then getting hacked and then finally getting dove on by Poker Face, playing it a lot more patiently around them. I like the approach that we're seeing from them. Again, there is a lot on the line here for both these teams, just so that way they can secure a better placement in that overall standings after a very lackluster stage thus far.
That is one of the difficulties about playing the Ramatra into something like the Winston. And so what we need to see from O2 Blast is, if Protect is going to play that far forward, then if you're going to also have that sniper pick coming out from Prophet, you have to be able to get picks, and you have to be able to find value from trying to invest so heavily in that pick potential. Whereas, like, Poker Face just have so much mobility, and with the Winston bubble as well, Muse has gotten much better at being able to place those down in order to try to keep the pressure off of the backline and also block off the healing. Like, if Ramatra just gets stuck in that bubble, that healing's not coming through from Brig or Ana.
Yeah, and that's the difference maker there too, depending on where O2 Blast feels very comfortable on this ramp pick. The one thing that I was looking at, although I was very happy to see Lisuman and Lego being picked up here for the O2 support lineup, the only problem that we currently still have in this roster is that they really need a Winston main tank, which is something that they haven't really been able to work with. Yes, they could try to work in the ramp here onto Lijiang, but it's about that consistency in the compositions that we've been having with the dive comps and trying to overtake a lot of these other teams currently that overwhelm the other squads that just do the dive way better.
Yeah, that's kind of again speaks to your point, like what happened yesterday when we did see Poker Face start to lose their grip. They got reverse swept by Panthera. That was kind of nuts. It was because of how often they were able to isolate Muse, just getting a little bit too far forward, coming out of position. All of the focus of the nades, the sleeps, going on to Muse immediately, so he got chunked down and got taken out, quite honestly, before he was even able to use the Primal Rage. But that's not really the same type of rush factor that you have with a Ramatra, so it relies on something like the Prophet Hanzo pick into Hidden of all people to really get things going here for O2 Blast.
And that's a huge first pick here too, only because it's going to delay that EMP charge in that next fight, but Valentine on the other side is going to be able to get that pulse on stick, but with Protect making his way right back to the point. He gets a nice little 3K before Muse goes down. He is able to find Lego here, but a great aggressive push here from O2 Blast after they lost Protect originally in that first fight.
And they might have to trade their backline a little bit there. You saw that Lego and Lee Min both got... What? Okay. Yeah, this is exactly to our point. Ramatra and Hanzo can work against the dive if you're gonna just wake up with picks like that. What in the world?
This is Prophet. This is Prophet we're talking about here. So
that's
scary.
So true, though.
I mean, this is where we see him shine. It's been that Hanzo constantly right now, getting those crucial picks. Hidden's about to get the EMP, though, and look at what O2's Blast is looking to work with. It's going to be big. Plethora of ultimates on the table here, too. Nearing 50%. Gets the hack, though. Leaps him in. The rally coming in from Lego. The Protect here. Right after Hidden tries to fully have the opportunity to take advantage of the EMP. Meanwhile, protecting the rest of O2 Blast, and they didn't even have to burn too much. I mean, they used the rally, they used that pulse earlier on. Rory's going to be able to get that just as quickly, and Prophet still melting down the rest of the opposition, while while Muse coming right back in with the Primal.
What's nice about Prophet having the Dragon Strike too, not having to invest that in that last fight, is he can play a bit more far forward. Use it as that zoning tool when Pokerface are going to want to try to stuff themselves through this choke. But there is a bit of a back cap happening here as Valentine's going to head over to the point. But it's really just to start pushing people away, and here's the Dragon Strike as everybody gets isolated on Pokerface.
Yeah, Muse forced to go on the other side, but it leads him into the trajectory of Who Are You? And while Valentine's going to be able to go in through the backside of the point alongside Muse. Here comes the rally from Eden. Pokerface now. Finding Protect, the overtime ticking away. O2 Blast having that advantage. And Lijiang going down with the nano boost. It's going to be big. Nice anti onto Protect. And it's going to be a reset here for O2 Blast. Unless Prophet has something to say here. Hand in hand with Who Are You? Backing away as Muse jumps right back in with the Primal Valentine. I got down earlier with the pulse bomb in hand. And Muse finally clears off the point before Lego's going to meet him right back in the spawn.
There wasn't enough sustain to get through that. But if Prophet had come up with the clutch, that would look very bad for Pokerface to try to end off this stage. But as it stands, O2 Blast get a chance to come back in with both of the support ultimates. And that nano boost is going to be huge. Push that onto Protect. Make him an unstoppable raid boss as he moves forward. And we get the Annihilation online as Pokerface have quite a world to work with here.
Oh, the nano boost on top of Protect after that pulse bomb is stuck onto him from Valentine. Hidden goes down with the EMP. Huge play here from Prophet to secure their push onto that point here. Backline is getting harassed in the corner. They get taken out, and O2 Blast now are going to ease their way into recapturing the point here at 99%.
That's it. Overtime is wicking away already, and we can see a desperate touch come through from Valentine, but how do you get back after that point to touch? You're so isolated now. Pokerface can't come in as a full team of 5.
They're trickling in. Aiden had activated it. He got the reset, but with Valentine going out, and Hidden was about to go down too. Can't re-engage here while Aiden was in the window. Hidden going down with the EMP in hand in the last 2 fights was crucial there. O2 Blast to take that.
That's not good. If you're holding on to ultimates as long as what Aiden, and Hidden were kind of holding on to theirs for that round, there's something wrong with how Pokerface are able to initiate those fights. And a lot of that was definitely Prophet just opening things up with a pick in every single engagement. And Pokerface not feeling confident that they'd be able to get any value out of using their ultimate there, try to go in and overwhelm with a bigger bank of ultimates. But we're heading on to where Pokerface could try to get a bit of a flip here. Again, Ramatra versus the Reinhardt. We've seen this look from Pokerface before, where they do like to play a little bit more of this Rhine rush comp. And with the main, the Symmetra too, Symmetra can be able to work wonders with those turrets to slow.
Oh, that's a reception with the setup already here with a double wall. Protect having to be careful backing away, but look who's taking the off angle. It's gonna be Prophet staring right down the middle, trying to retreat too. A nice immortality kill to help him out. He can't climb over the May wall, blocking his only escape out. Valentine looking for blood. And they're trickling down as Muse helps clean up right afterwards. Aiden having this fight over to the side, but Lego gets the better of him at the very end. While Protect goes out, Poker Face. With this skirmisher now making their way into trying to finalize this point capture. Lego's still there, delaying this. It's just going to be hidden, and Valentine here just trying to wait for the rest of the squad to come in.
Yeah, that cap is still going to go through, though. And so Poker Face are going to start walking away with a decent amount of percentage, as now it's just Prophet in the front line. Doesn't always feel great unless you're able to get that off angle, and look how Protect is actually going to be funneling them down into the sights of Prophet.
Photon barrier and the window on top of the window to the soul here. Simple's holding onto his. Lisaman being able to clear up that entire side. The photon barrier cannot protect Poker Face, and O2 Blast quickly to recapture that point.
All they needed was the amplification matrix too, just as a zoning element, and also to make it more reliable for Protect to go in there and just try to pummel people down. But with Prophet also working up to the Dragon Strike once again, you've got so many amazing tools that O2 Blast can rely on when it comes down to playing this a little bit more defensively. Oh, Prophet has to get away though.
Oh, he is visible while he is out of there. Meanwhile, a huge immortality field from Simple, but the survivability while Protect pulls the trigger, calls in the annihilation, clears out everybody in this side room. Don't worry, the sacrifice was all worth it as Poker Face are forced to reset back in the spawn.
Huge reset for them as like the full team wipe. That's gonna be O2 Blast just kind of sending a message in this case. Lego still has the sound barrier to work with too when Poker Face are starting to run out of impactful DPS ults. You've got the Reinhardt Shatter, but how are you gonna land that if everybody's playing so spread out? And okay, well that's one way. Ice Block is down to block it.
That is huge here. Good pick as the Shatter comes in right afterwards after the Sound Barrier had been unleashed, and this may be the player that Muse needs to rely on to as Aiden comes in, hidden, pops off, finds Prophet, the problem, and Lego right afterwards, and Poker Face managed to retake that point.
Beautiful stuff as well when it was just the Reinhardt Shatter. And when O2 Blast did throw 4 ultimates at the fight previous, it's going to be a little bit of time before they're going to be able to get back into this one with anything that's going to be like a solid fight win. It's all about trying to force position with the ultimates that are on O2 Blast, as nothing is going to be as impactful as just the annihilation itself. That would be kind of like the fight winner. So we'll see the amp first just to get people into a position.
Here comes Aiden with that sound barrier. He went down with it earlier on in that last fight. He's coming in, allowing the rest of Poker Face to keep their feet planted on this point here. Playing off the back in this 1v1 versus Lego that we've already seen before here. Aiden falling low, having to back away in time. He can't get the reset. Lego, once again, wins in that 1v1 trade over in the back.
That's huge though, because now you can just go back to Taxi, and everybody on O2 Blast is now going to be able to play with this player advantage. You do see Aiden come back to the point, but not before O2 Blast have already made their way in there, and to be able to micro position around, it's just not as easy now.
Blizzard has been unleashed, but Prophet has already made his own way right through Poker Face. He is clearing out the entire team, making a 5K, taking out all of Poker Face, nearing 80% now as O2 Blast looking great. About to get that Blizzard on board too.
That's so nice to just throw on top of Poker Face as they make their way in. You see some switches coming through from Poker Face as they try to at least go back to get the touch. As Simple's on the Kiko, hidden as well in the Sojourn, but look at how they're stuck in this Blizzard.
That was such a good wall there too. Where are you gonna go? Muse can't do anything, can't even put a toe on that point here. Meanwhile, the overtime has been activated, but each of every one of Poker Face's members have been fallen down. Nobody left to touch on the point. O2 Blast, nice dominating win for our first map.
What a great map for them to kick off with too, because of how potent that Ramatra composition can really be on Lijiang. And to be able to get this win is so important for them to just kind of kick off this series on the right foot. The control record was looking a little lackluster heading into the start of this series, but it's even tougher as you take a look at how they're doing in the other modes moving forward.
really highlighting that backline is really helping out O2 Blast. Lijiang really popped off there too. Like 3 deaths, I believe, too. The survivability for Lijiang and also allowing Prophet to stay alive and be that problem was a big key factor for that first map.
It was really nice to see how Lego and Lijiang started to work with the roster, just able to funnel their healing down into the Ramatra to keep it up and nice and strong. So with that, we're going to see O2 Blast kick things off on this match, and we'll see what happens after this break.
Welcome back, everybody. O2 Blast take the first map on Lijiang Tower, and now we are moving on to our second map in Midtown.
Midtown, a place where you could still see the Ramatra rush. We've seen this from a few teams just kind of wanting to lean into that one, especially when you take a look at how the West has approached this map in particular. But Poker Face, they still seem very steadfast around the Sombra Tracer Winston. At least they felt that way in their match against Panthera, and also when we just saw how they approached that first round of market on Lijiang. Wouldn't be super surprised to see them just kind of stick to the same old, same old. So let's see if Prophet can continue to show up.
Really shining and putting him in that position. It's going to be the new backline that we're currently witnessing from O2 Blast. Lego and Lee Sumin doing a great job so far after that very first map. Really a highlight performance out here too. Prophet was enabled in such a way right alongside Protect there. You can tell that both these players were having a lot of fun, but specifically Prophet after that 5K that we got in that replay was such a highlight. Got to see it again. Meanwhile, on the other side from Poker Face, some changes will be coming in here too. Seeing that they were able to funnel their way into some of these points, but unable to really fully take it over from O2 Blast.
That's one of the reasons why O2 Blast's comp can be so oppressive, though, is that the way that they play with their individual pieces, it's about making their own map architecture, whether it's with the Maywall when they're playing like kind of more true like Ramatra Rush, or if it's really more just like about the brawl with the Brig and the Ana helping to shield bash people into Prophet sightlines, or Protect just kind of walking into people and pushing them into it too. That's their whole game, and Poker Face are playing completely into it right now. And they gotta change that up. Midtown with these longer straightaways could help them initiate these dives a little bit better, but it's been tough going trying to access that strong backline, as you said.
I love how you highlighted that from Poker Face too, because each individual player here on this team is very talented. It's just when things don't go according to plan for them, they just choke and they look like they're in shambolic land. So we saw that play out yesterday when they lost against Panthera in the reverse sweep. Now moving on to Midtown though, they could wake up a little bit here, maybe work into that different composition that may actually help them out.
As as Matt and Mitch would say, the talent is there. But we need to see it, and that's the big key difference maker for this squad, and it's disappointing when Poker Face was touted as one of the top contenders teams in the league coming into this stage after such an incredible performance during their knockouts at the very beginning of the season, heading into even the spring stage qualifiers. So it is disappointing to see them in this position where this is their last match of the stage, and could also just be that they walk away with that one and only match win.
Hey, even though it's their last series, we need to see a game being won by Poker Face, and I say that because then that would make Muse get his 100th map win on today. So he's currently sitting at 99 at the end of that last series that we just mentioned with Panthera. So all as a Poker Face, all right? Just this one for Muse. Got to do it for the music.
He was so close. Like that's also maybe one of the more disappointing parts about the reverse sweep, is that he got to 99 and then Panthera completely shut him out, and I don't want it to be that he has to wait until like next season. So like maybe the gentleman's sweep, O2 Blast, consider it. Consider giving them one singular map just for Muse.
Problem is, O2 Blast can't even afford to spare a crumb right now. They're looking to completely turn this around. Again, backline really put it in the work that they need. And Prophet coming out on the Ashe, not too surprising considering this is something that we've already seen before from O2 Blast.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen like just the Ashe, the Hanzo, like any of these heroes can really work on these long-range sites. And Hing got forced back immediately. That was like an insta-translocate. Yikes.
Prophet is scary. I'll say it again out here. Just trying to see where the approach is going to come in from Poker Face. Right through that choke. Tech being very aggressive here again. Being on this ramp, something that we've seen already before from O2 Blast. Activating Nemesis, trying to isolate Muse. Managing to try to get away in time while Koryu being on that Mei. Tries to block him off. He's trying to run away. Here he literally won. He manages to escape. Giving him a little haircut right beforehand.
Oh, Protect. What are you doing? You could have cleaned that up. No problem. Who are you is going to stop that push again? Because Aiden's dead. Okay. Another reset for Poker Face as they have to start looking at using this Nano Boost to engage. And all right, gonna hit Muse as Hidden gets deleted.
Who are you? Is melting down these individual picks between Aiden now next Hidden here. Poker Face in a lot of trouble, and they use up that Nano Boost originally to just allow Muse to buy in some of that space, but they haven't been able to really fully engage her while Valentine makes his appearance. A nice leap with the stick on the post bomb may be what they need here to turn things around. Only Lego up to help out Prophet, falling low. Protect's about to get that annihilation here too. The first 6 has already been taken here from Poker Face. Prophet playing on the back as Valentine tries to disengage. Seeing that Protect is trying to contest him in that side room. So close to getting that ult ready. The Blizzard has already been called in here. Who are you? Rally's going to be activated here from Lego. A nice anti, and there goes the annihilation for Protect. Everybody clear off the point. A nice sleep though from Simple. Delaying the annihilation while Muse lived way long enough as Prophet, seeing that he was one, is going to be able to clean that up. Hit it on the other side, so we will be able to also take care of 2. O2 Blast are playing very spread apart, though. Makes things difficult here for Poker Face now that the Dragons get called in front of Prophet's face. Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, that's rough. That's so rough. At this point, too, O2 Blast, they can still come in and recontest, but it's not a full team of 5. They're a little too tough for them to stay on their feet to be able to do this, but if they delay this long enough, Poker Face are on the run now. Who are you? Gets a chance to stabilize this defense as he comes back with the ice block, and that has bought enough time now for the rest of the team. But Valentine saw that ice block go up and said, well, it's offline now, so time to pulse bomb.
Good awareness on the CD right there too. And after finding 3 already, backline's gone. Just a matter of time before Protect meets him right back in. But he's just gonna stall for right now before he has to go in for the reset. And O2 Blast with less than a minute on the clock. Better late than never. Gonna be able to get this payload moving.
Yeah, O2 Blast now have to come back though on like the high ground setup there. They delayed this capture for so long though by Poker Face that they are able to like work with a bit of a better time bank heading on to the second point. And with Prophet already getting set up on the high ground too, there are not many great ways for Poker Face at the moment to try to get up there. They did switch over to the Doomfist. This is slightly abnormal coming out from Muse. But there are some nice targets for the Doomfist to try to hit, like Prophet's Ash or maybe the Brig, but both of those have mobility cooldowns.
Oh, Aiden saying not again. Not again. Protect finishing him off. So close to getting that rush online too. Mentioned the Doom swap too that we're also seeing from Muse playing up that low ground. Makes sense at least for this section. You get on top of the high ground just as quickly here too to try to contest him, boot them off the high ground as Hidden's gonna be able to find the head off of Prophet. O2 Blast also are about to have a plethora of ultimates to work with. At 3 online, a nice anti, but the annihilation for Protect. He can't protect himself. The follow-up right after he used that annihilation, after that nice anti coming out from Simple, without Poker Face even having to burn that backline ultimate. Nice look as Poker Face are gonna be able to take that cheap fight.
Super nice coming out from Poker Face too. Like I do have hesitations about this Doomfist working, but honestly the Winston wasn't working out much better, so maybe just go with something that's a bit more comfortable for you and also be able to try to chunk down a fast target. With the stun too, I mean Doomfist being able to just kind of get in there much more aggressively does help to try to activate these dives, and oh, Prophet's in trouble.
Hello.
Oh, so
Protect. I want to be the rude awakening after your nap. Hidden fighting Who Are You, and Prophet retaliates right back as Fuse tries to get away. Funneled inside the side room though, it's going to be Hidden, caught with Lego, who had just used that rally earlier on to set them up. Sumin gets hit with another anti, but the number advantage still favors O2 Blast here while Aiden tries to get away.
What's up?
Aiden does get away. We're going to see Muse swap off the Doomfist.
Oh!
I see more why the Doomfist would have been a really nice hero to have there. You saw the disruption come through, even on top of that Blizzard, and still being able to get the Brawl out of the way so that the rally wasn't as effective. But now you're starting to work up against the clock once again. Poker Face at 45 seconds to get back into this one. Kitsune Rush is going to be nice to lay down on top of the cart, and Dragon Strike is good to be able to split up this team as well, but where's the follow-up on top of that? Gotta be from the Winston jump.
Clear up the high ground, sending out the Dragons here too. Here comes the rush as well, setting up Muse into position. meeting him right by the stairwell. It's going to be Protect. Nice fortune to control that space too. While the Bob is called in, Prophet was holding on to that one from the start of this fight. Less than 30 seconds now on the clock. Poker Face to get to that next checkpoint. Prophet over on the other side, no one's paying attention. The rest of Poker Face are funneling inside that bottom bridge and Protect with the Annihilation. Clears out Simple and Hidden the follow-up. Nobody's left as O2 Blast looking to clear out this point. Stop Poker Face right before getting to that checkpoint.
Oh, that's all she wrote. Yeah. That was a strong defense coming through from O2 Blast. The Ashe, just a really nice hero choice to have against, like, even the Winston. If you get Dove as the Ashe, you have the Coach Gun to be able to push that Winston back. And even if you're playing around with the Brig and Ana, it's not, like, you know, Prophet's mechanical skill is something that I would rely upon to also help keep your healers safe. Push back the Tracer. Force her to recall. Force the Sombra away. Like, so many nice plays coming through from the Ashe.
It was very similar to what we had seen when O2 Blast beat the Seoul Dynasty. Literally the exact same comp here with Prophet being on this Ashe. Taking a look at some of these highlights here before diving into the other side. Prophet was cleaning up so much on top of that bridge. I do like the attempt from Poker Face though. A few times we got to see the Dragon try to clear up that high ground too. For O2 Blast was so quick to disengage and then counter rotate right around where Poker Face dropped down into that low ground, right into the line of sight originally of that Annihilation. Good cohesiveness that we're seeing here from O2 Blast. Now getting started, looks like we got some changes over from Poker Face. We got Valentine, of course, sticking to the Tracer, but Hidden going back over to the Sombra.
Yeah, I want to call out that Doomfist choice once again here, because that was a nice attempt coming through from Poker Face, and I think that they had recognized in that instance that this was going to be a very difficult composition to dislodge from that high ground. So you may as well try something up until your backs are against the wall with that clock. But it's going to be pretty stock standard here from O2 Blast, is what we saw on Lijiang. And for contenders, Poker Face once again too, just more of that Tracer Sombra. You got to go back to kind of the old reliable, and I think the key to go over the Brig on defense makes way more sense.
These different angles too that Prophet is holding. He's trying to funnel them inside from underneath the cart. Trying to inch their way onto this point though. Wardew's doing a good job at splitting some of the attention from Poker Face. Trying to pull Valentine right to him while Hidden tries to rack up some more of that damage to charge up that EMP. Slowing down his EMP charge though ever so slightly. Yes, he gets the hack onto Prophet. Managing to fight his way right back in. Looks at Hidden. Who tries to give him some backup, but right behind Prophet was Muse. Nice follow-up here from Poker Face, and Simple and Aiden are doing a good job at keeping the rest of the team alive here. Valentine is just cleaning up what's left of O2 Blast, where they try to go for a reset here. It's just Lego and Lisamin holding hands inside of this room.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, O2 Blast are going to have to go again on that one, but that was a long engage. And that is one of the downsides of running something like a Ramatra comp, is that it does take a bit of time to set up. And when this point is so far away from the attacking spawn, I mean, look at this posturing for position. This is going to happen for a while until Poker Face opts to get like a hack down or something and start to jump in on that.
Well, Yippee racking up here shortly for Hidden, but the sleep onto Muse too. He's also got the Primal coming up soon. Prophet gets hit with an anti. Gonna be able to try to take height. Does see Muse is gonna meet him right up there. Hidden also holding on to the rally, but who are you? Looking for the opportunity. The EMP has been unleashed from Hidden. Can the follow-up come in? As who are you? Also initiates the pulse bomb. Doesn't get the stake, and Prophet is one. Muse finds the threat. The Annihilation for Protect. Somebody wakes him up. And afterwards, he finds Simple, gets the revenge after getting put to sleep originally, and Lee Soo-min helps put Protect in that position. Valentine is able to find him, clip him, and Protect is clearing out this point. In combination between the Annihilation and swapping right afterwards to the Nemesis after the reset, he puts down the Vortex, and they already get that second tick.
What a fast take, and now they're going to have even more time in the bank than what Poker Face had. Just about 30 seconds more as this payload gets unlocked. The 4 minutes to work with is even just such a big boon when it comes down to how many ultimate rotations you can get versus something like that 3.5 minute mark. And O2 Blast are already starting to make their way close towards that high ground. Valentine gets taken out, and that's a huge opening for O2 Blast to work with as this card comes around the first corner.
Look at Prophet.
How
much
could you
pressure
not look
here.
at Profit?
I mean, everybody is literally clearing up the space from the pressure that they're feeling right now, giving him the high ground, the positioning advantage as Muse gets hit with an anti from Lisumin. Aiden hiding behind the crevice of this wall, as Valentine's gonna be able to jump right there, close with that pulse bomb here. So is Who Are You, fighting that Tracer Ditto over to the side room, while approaching the car rush from right down below. Trying to look out for hidden here as Prophet backs away. Muse tries to nail him down as a target.
God. This card's
Very
so
split up,
close
though,
to the
in general,
checkpoint.
too. Oh, but Who Are You with the pulse bomb onto Muse is big. Valentine was literally one. Lego's gonna be able to capitalize here.
Oh, that's it.
Only 3
That's
left
it.
for Poker Face. Yes, they get the payload to the shiny box of victory. They try to hold those 2 different split angles, but O2 Blast had so much pressure coming onto Poker Face there.
Oh, that card had moved so far. And because of how far back Poker Face were for the defense, as soon as they got bullied off of that high ground, that was over. That was O2 Blast dominance coming into this match so far, and we didn't see anything very different here on Midtown to follow that up, and so now Poker Face, the onus is on them. Muse is still not at that 100 map win mark. Vicky, that's a travesty. Hopefully Circuit Royale will be different around the corner.
We want to celebrate. We always love to celebrate these dubs coming in, especially when it's a milestone out here. But O2 Blast, they're not going to be so forgiving. Love to see the pressure coming out from Prophet when he took onto the high ground right there. You saw how the rest of Poker Face were forced to navigate right down to that low ground. Hopefully, Circuit Royale is going to be different. We got map number 3 on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. welcome back, everybody. O2 Blast currently sit at match point after taking our first 2 maps on Lijiang and on Midtown, and now we are escorting ourselves over to Circuit Royale, which I know is Necro's favorite to see all the action go down here.
Well, that was my favorite for 2 reasons. One, because you said we were escorting ourselves over to an escort match, which I thought was very slick. But 2, because we were just talking during the break about how much of a clown fiesta Circuit Royale has really become in these last few weeks, and in this stage in particular. You know, when it first entered into Overwatch 2, it felt so in a box, like what you would play. It was like, okay, we're gonna get the Sigma, we're gonna get the double sniper, we're gonna have a blast, maybe throw some Zen in the back line and just go ham with all these picks. But now, because of how heftily these teams are starting to lean into the Winston brawl, even over in the West, we're seeing Winston versus Winston. We've got the London Spitfire on Reinhardt on this map. And in the West, I honestly, I don't know what to expect over here either, because we also have Peppy coming into the roster who played the Diva on this map. Make this make sense, Vicky.
You don't remember that Zarya, what we saw yesterday? Very interesting things coming out to play
I
here.
pretend I do not see it, because I did not see the grab either.
Well, the graph was hitting Ghost, honestly, in his sleep here, but it was difficult, but it just also highlights the different compositions that are still being rotated in for Circuit Royale. A very defense-favored map. When I started playing on Circuit Royale and was able to take a look at Shabali, I'm like, man, being on the defense, you're having a good time out here in
True.
Circuit. Definitely being one of those maps out here, too. That's also going to favor the snipers that we're definitely going to be witnessing going into this map.
Yeah, so we still could see the double sniper composition, because Poker Face, when they played this map versus the Shanghai Dragons, did bring out like the Widowmaker and the Hanzo, but also ended up also playing a bit more of like the Hanzo Tracer with the Diva look coming out from Peppy, as they did get subbed into play that map too. But for O2 Blast, it's kind of more of the same, and we have seen a few teams maybe lean into a couple of the different hit scan picks on this one. I think back to when like Florida Mayhem, London Spitfire, you had like Hydron and Sparker trying to play the Soldier on this map, and that is a look that we've seen from O2 Blast 2, choosing that over something like the Ashe or the Hanzo.
Would love to also highlight the side-by-side comparison where Poker Face is currently 0-7 on Escort.
Oh,
and,
no.
Look, you gotta call it as it is. And O2 Blast are currently 2-4 on Escort. So can this be it? The dub for Muse and maybe the first dub on Escort? It's gonna be a tricky one.
That'd be a
with O2
huge
Blast.
dub.
I'd be surprised here with the way that we're seeing Prophet really play out to his strength, especially being on that Hanzo earlier on. We gotta see what we're gonna be rolling out with.
That's
Who are you louding
actually a coherent song. I'm proud of Prophet. Usually we just hear all of these players bash their heads against the keyboard and hope that it makes some music. Which honestly sometimes is how I feel I play in my ranked games, but we're not going to talk about that. As we actually are going to see the Sigmas from both of these teams. Wow, I did not think that I would see the day, but this looks like a very honorable Circuit Royale, if I've ever seen one. I didn't think we'd ever see this again after the whole Atlanta Rain and Toronto Defiant map. Oh, that's bad.
Well, welcome, Peppy, here into this map. He was the one that came in, as actually Muse was the one sitting out for this specific map here. Nice retaliation that we're seeing between Valentine and Aiden. I'm gonna say, Peppy was definitely feeling out that music that they were hearing outside. Now backing away though in time, as Who Are You and Lego need to make their way back. Profit gets taken out by Valentine, looking for the revenge, and this is what we're talking about, especially right here around this corner. So volatile here for these double hit scan that we're witnessing for Poker Face.
Well, when Peppy went down so early as well, that was so much free real estate for O2 Blast. And they have a lot of advantage just being so close to their spawns. And without that shield that Peppy had provided, this part has already moved pretty far forward. Any pick here from Prophet or Who Are You will be good enough for O2 Blast to move this even closer and even potentially get that checkpoint before anyone from Poker Face can come back. So pay attention to where Prophet and Hidden are going to be playing these Widowmakers and who they've got in their sights too. It's so much frontline focus right now.
And Hidden's going to be able to play into their strength too on the other side. Being on NT, popping off on the Widow himself and right alongside Valentine. Who's very close to getting those dragons to split up the rest of O2 Blast front line. And here we go, sending out those dragons exactly right there. Prophet forced to hold back just for right now. Waiting that out here on the other side. Well, Peppy so close to that flux. Valentine has the nano right on top of him. Trying to just get out of their line of sight while Hidden does the rest. It's the cleanup onto Who Are You, Lisa Min, and it's the rest of O2 Blast that are looking to get that reset after a nice little cheeky pickoff as Hidden's gonna be able to take onto the height.
Great defense so far from Poker Face. They haven't needed to use very much here besides Dragon Strike and the Nano Boost. And with this Transcendence coming online as well, even if Protect hits the Flux, the Transcendence is just such a nice counter to have against that, especially if you're going to be running the Ana over the BAP and you don't have the Immortality Field to save your team instead. So the Transcendence comes in very, very clutch there. But back up as Poker Face, they also have these sights online. They could just pop them now and put O2 Blast in a very bad position. Okay, Aiden doesn't have it.
Oh, Prophet though, with the follow-up finding Peppy. Right there as Protect tries to clear up that next corner with that Flux. Peppy goes down without being able to use his own Gravitic Flux. Valentine still holding the side angle here too. While Prophet falls low, is going to be able to reposition on the other side. But Poker Face have so much to work with here with the Transcendence being the first thing that they're going to utilize. Aiden coming in to re-stabilize the rest of the team. Yet Prophet still finds Valentine right after that Transcendence is done. Who Are You is able to follow up, finds Aiden, and Hidden falls right afterwards like a row of dominoes. O2 Blast finally waking up a little bit. Prophet said, hold on, better late than never. It took me a little bit to get that first pick on the board. Now you add that up to 3.
Oh, and Who Are You just comes in from behind to just punch Simple in the back of the head, knock him out. And now, look at all of this forward positioning that O2 Blast can take. Even have the Disruptor shot that Peppy cannot step into for fear of just getting too low in health, that a stray shot from Prophet or Who Are You would just take him out immediately. He still has the Gravitic Flux. That is something that you can use here, but as I called out before, the biggest difference that O2 Blast has in these defenses is that they have the Transcendence and the Immortality Field. They only need one. And he got stunned! Oh! Oh my god, he got stunned!
No way! Right out of
I think he got rocked!
Too. Prophet too on the other side finding Aiden, and that's with O2 Blast still holding on to the Transcendence Necra. Fortunately, that Flux was cut off immediately. Got canceled, went off into the air. Taken down as O2 Blast. Wipe out what is left of Poker Face. And look at Prophet's positioning. Already holding forward so that way he can hold that angle to find them catching out on the other side of the spawn room doors.
Okay, they're smart. They're smart, and Prophet also knows because of the Venom Mine placement that they are coming out of the right side spawn. So gives a lot of intel over to O2 Blast that they can go ahead and take poolside. But I cannot believe that Peppy got stunned out of the Gravitic Flux. That hit nobody. And that Transcendence is so valuable because now you know you're not saving it for anything in particular except maybe the Dragon Strike. So if you find yourself stuck between Sigma, Rock, and Hard Place, then go ahead and use the Transcendence there. And it's a nice saving grace to have as that. Or just aggressively, look how far forward this card has already got. Poker Face, you've got to stop this. Put your bodies on the point.
So holding these angles up on the high ground here too. There's so many open sight lines that they have to be aware of. With Hidden and Valentine specifically on the high ground here to their right. Here comes the Dragons. Peppy gets saved just for a brief amount of time with the Immortality Field, but Lego gonna be able to finish him off while Hidden is gonna be able to find that trade. Meanwhile, look who's right behind him. It's Who Are You that has taken reign over this high ground, overlooking this payload. Also seeing where Aiden is positioned right there. He's gonna get 3v1 literally on the other side as Protect tries to run away. O2 Blast duking it out over to the side. Meanwhile, the payload has not stopped Necra. Still having bodies here while the backline gets annihilated for Poker Face.
Yeah, and Hidden's just a Widowmaker, and the Disruptor shot again, gonna force Hidden back into spawn. You at least are able to pop the sights, but Prophet has free reign of your backline!
Oh no! Gets a follow-up off those Discord orbs too that are being able to put down so much damage alongside Prophet's shots. Gets into a different angle. Can he get another one real quick? Does it get the headshot? Oh! Tries to test Hidden. Without being fully healed here too, but it's a saving grace. A minute and less than 40 seconds now on the clock.
Breathing room for Poker Face now. That was looking like a dire situation for a long time. And Poker Face gave up so much free push on that card. But with another Gravitic Flux, Peppy has another chance to try to make a big play with this, as Horyu's now working up to this overclock. It's gonna be a race against time as Pokerface is running out of it.
After getting pinged once, tries to jump away. Can't run away, though, from Prophet's line of sight. Gravitic Flux was used earlier on here, too. Nice Immortality Field helps out 3 here. Prophet goes down. Protect manages to restabilize, but with Lego feeling that pressure, Valentine is able to get the trade. It's Valentine versus Lego here. And who are you? Controlling so much of that space around that next corner. Finding the backline of Pokerface. Leaving 3 right in front of the spawn room doors, and Protect doing all that he can without Lee Sumin's window. It's going to have to be another reset here for O2 Blast with less than 40 seconds now.
I get why Who Are You used the overclock there. I think at this point, especially switching over to the Genji, they're gonna try to do their best to get a little bit more point presence down, but I would have liked to see that overclock get saved when you knew that you only had 3 members alive with Protect and Lee Sumin by your side. But the AM Matrix is gonna help buy O2 Blast some space and also buy some time for Protect to get this Gravitic Flux online, so eventually they just, throw Pokerface up in the air and get the cart that way.
We've already seen it happen down. We got to see the appearance of Poco earlier on.
Where?
Who are you finding that pick? Valentine's about to get the play here on the other side. Here comes the Flux now for Protect. The window from Lisumin overtime ticking away while Aiden makes a desperate swap over to the Kiriko. Protect saved by the Immortality Field while Valentine now finds the opportunity to slash and dash through O2 Blast. Finds Protect. Prophet goes down with a nice deflect from Valentine. Still the delay with the Transcendence from Lego, but for how long? Even through the window. Now it's Horyu's time. The only difference is he doesn't have the blade, he doesn't have the survivability. And no more bodies left on the payload from O2 Blast, while Pokerface gets to hold them back.
That was a great attempt by O2 Blast, but that point, that final push of third is so defensively favored. Even when they started to get that player advantage in those moments, like Pokerface were still able to come out of spawn and get the clutch, but that was a fast push, and here's a prime example of why.
Oh, we got to see the Gravitic Flux also getting canceled very early into that game.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was like, where did it go?
Boom.
And then I saw this stun on the UI and I went, ah. It went into Protect's loving arms. Doesn't this pool look shallow to you?
A little too shallow.
You're from Florida. That looks a little too shallow.
Well, I mean, with my height, it may look shallow, but then you'll see me drowning, unfortunately. I'll probably fall under. I'll probably fall
Girl, I'm right there
underneath
with
that,
you.
that ducky right there. Hopefully, though, we don't see the other side of Pokerface after successfully holding back O2 Blast round in this case, too, because right there, Valentine had that pop-off opportunity with that Dragon Blade, the deflect at the very end as well, dealing with the issue that was Prophet. Getting set up here, too. Looking at what we have in store for us from O2 Blast, sticking to what we already currently saw.
All right, a little bit more of the same. Yeah, it is a little bit of a kind of a matched presence here. It's not going to be the Ana anymore coming out from Simple, as Prophet also puts the whew, Zen's to bed now too. Are they going to keep holding this close? I suppose they can. O2 Blast, like, don't really have a reason to try to back away from this unless they're worried about something like a Genji coming out.
And he can at least make his way right back to the loving arms of the rest of his squad here. Who are you? Backing away. Is going to be able to get into position. Look down these open line of sights. While also noting that Valentine is right there. Tries to jump around to the cha-cha slide. Right outside of Valentine's point of view. And Valentine's the one to fall first. The head falling right off of his shoulders. Now Prophet gets into position here. Having the advantage though, you can already currently see Pokerface just trying to hold these different off angles, waiting to see how O2 Blast wants to approach it from the low ground here, and that's a trade that they needed to get aggressive around that next corner. It's really just Who Are You that's continuously applying this extra pressure.
Who Are You has been so good with these storm bows. That's gonna be another headshot sending Aiden back to spawn. And even though Who Are You falls here, it's the fact that Aiden is down that makes this fight so detrimental. You're still going to see the investment of this amplification matrix, but Prophet's so far back to try to keep this at bay.
No one can hide.
I believe he had 3 on him too at the very end. It was Peppy, who
Checkpoint.
did the finishing blow with the annihilation. Protect going down, and the immortality field called in now from Simple. Prophet on the high ground. Tries to get that finishing blow onto Peppy. Unfortunately misses, and now the Gravitic Flux has been called in. Hugging the other side of the corner just in case he falls so low. They did lose out on Simple earlier on, and now the restabilization from the Transcendence. They still lose out on Lisa Pin as hidden. Again, this is where his element is. Where are you going? Why are you running? As Lego goes down next. And now it's going to allow the rest of Poker Face to get this progress on the payload.
I've never seen a Widowmaker get a chance to play so close to a point before. You've earned it, though. I mean, Hidden at this point has popped off so many times. And just, I love being able to see these Widowmaker duels. And this is one of the reasons why Circuit Royale has always been so exciting to watch. And so, I don't know why we haven't had more Widowmaker on this map, because this is very much delivering. As Aiden comes back in, and the Gravitic Flux getting called out here feels like a little too late, as O2 Blast have to throw so much at this.
Nice holding the corner there too, though. The Transcendence calling in from Aiden. Lisumin with the immortality save as well onto him and protect, but the restabilization cannot come out. Valentine with the dash, doing so much of that pressure. Aiden too with these Escort orbs as Valentine cleans up the rest of O2 Blast. Holding forward at the same time, clearing up that extra space so that way the rest of Poker Face can have some room to breathe here on that payload.
This payload has moved so far. And even though Protect gets to come back, with what? O2 Blast have no ultimates in the bank when Valentine has this Dragon Blade online, can just slash and dash his way through the back line, as Ryu's going to be coming out on the Genji as well. Oh, he wants to
Side. Ooh, and the dash. Yep. And he's got that blade ready to go once it needs to be used. The dash, though, comes in from Who Are You? He who used it second has that advantage there, especially after that damage he had taken earlier. No blade used up here. Simple's got that window available. And Prophet holding his corner uninterrupted means that Poker Face are going to disengage here.
Poker Face have so much time to work with, but the danger lies in the fact that they're running such a stable comp. And there's so much ground that they have to cover in order to get back to this cart now. So it relies on Hidden getting another opening pick with the Widowmaker. Valentine finally getting into a position to be able to use this blade, but wow, everybody's getting so low on O2 Blast already.
Oh, Valentine with the stun into immediately annihilating him. Everybody was on Valentine while Lego wins the trade off of the Ditto against Aiden here. Aiden wants to build up into that trance. Going into that next fight. They still got 2 minutes now on the clock to count for them to get that payload over to that point that they were so close to getting.
Yeah, but the momentum has been completely at a standstill. As Poker Face, like, see how far they have to go. You gotta go out of spawn, then you have to go up this narrow staircase.
This is rough.
Unless you want to just go right up the main choke. And that's just too long of a time to get back up there before you end up seeing O2 Blast at the pace again with having this high ground advantage. Vicky, I'm sure you see this all the time. Those who have high ground know best.
That's why it's a saying. I have the high ground here. The Gravitic Flux being called in from Protect. For the difficult spot to traverse through. Uphill here, and the blade gets called in from Who Are You first. Valentine's still holding on to his because he doesn't need to use it yet. He shuts down Who Are You? The Transcendence gets called in from Lego, but a little too late. Aiden had used this earlier, setting a Poker Face up for success and putting Valentine in the driver's seat for that fight.
They're finally going to get this payload over the line. It's been a long time coming, and they've already come down to the sub 1 minute mark. And as you called out, Valentine still with this Dragon Blade. Now Poker Face have a bit more of a unique opportunity to get into this one with the Dragon Blade to open things up, especially when you have the back line right there. Easy picks.
And you're getting funneled inside of that one choke point too. Who Are You? Look to retaliate. Peppy's so low, he's gonna be able to find him. Aiden in that 1v1 also finds Lego over to the side. Who Are You? He's gonna be able to climb right back up, or so he thought, while Aiden pops off with the 3K, sending O2 Blast back to the lobby.
That is the most fun you can ever have on a Zenyatta.
When you get to kick them off.
Right? Exactly. I think, yeah, that might be even like a bigger highlight. Just kind of kick them off of the map. That's exciting. but Valentine's still looking for an opportunity to use this blade. And with being so close to this final checkpoint, you want to have as many ultimates in your pocket as you can. And at this moment in time, it's just Prophet's Sights to help buy a bit of time for O2 Blast to get something online to contend with Poker Faces.
Look away for right now. The window's available here. He's nearing that gravitic flux. Window bidding called in as well as the accretion protect temporarily. The immortality field's gonna help them out. Also about to have the flux here as Valentine initiates the blade, hugs the spawn room doors, gets caught in the flux here too as Lijiang is gonna be able to find Valentine. Who are you? With literally 1 health, comes in, about to have the Dragon Blade, finds Aiden. It's gonna have to be another reset with less than a minute on the clock here for Poker Face.
And that's where holding onto the Dragon Blade so long actually becomes a hindrance. That was so much time that Valentine could have built up another blade, maybe even 2. And now you're in 30 seconds left. You don't have that blade online, and you still haven't got out the big defensive pieces of O2 Blast kit. Like, Lyco could have another Transcendence entering into this last stretch, and this is the final chance the Poker Face have to get on the board. Otherwise, Vicky, they're gonna be shut out. Muse will not get his 100th map win. Peppy will not be able to give him that chance to have it as an option.
Oh, no impact, no flux, the Transcendence, and no Valentine. Prophet on the high ground here. Creature deletes the Immortality Field. Overtime ticking away here. They lose out on Lijiang, but the highlight here is going to be Lego. If he can pop this Transcendence, restabilize Prophet, who are you? But there won't be any bodies. It's just going to be Lego making his way back. Pops the Transcendence, keeps the overtime ticking away. But for how long before it's too little too late? Poker Face looking to put a map on board here for themselves as well. Puts it to the finishing line and is going to be able to take the map.
Finally getting on the board. And with that as well, Poker Face finally get a win for their Escort record this stage. They are now 1-7, Vicky. And that was better than what they were entering into this one. So hey, hats off to them that they finally got an Escort win under their belt.
Rejoice! We said it. We said what was on the line here for Poker Face coming through. Yes, Muse wasn't the one playing with the rest of the team, but still allowing them to take that dub means everything for Poker Face, especially with O2 Blast already sitting at match point, which means we got a map number 4 on our hands. I'm excited to see how this plays out too. Looking at the way that Poker Face was able to retaliate on Circle Royale, they also were able to really split up a lot of that focus onto the threats that was Prophet, even isolating that backline at one point, Necro.
Absolutely. I mean, the snipers, what else can you really say when you're able to watch such high-intensity Widowmaker gameplay? What a treat. And around the corner, we've got map number 4 of this series.
Welcome back, everybody. Poker Face take map number 3, their first dub on an Escort map, and it happens to be on Circuit Royale. You love to see it, and you love to see another map among us. It's going to be map number 4. We're going to be moving on to a push map on Esperança here, and we're not going to see any change-ups, too, looking on the side of Poker Face.
No changes, which surprises me based on how we've seen Poker Face approach Esperança in the past, and with it being more of a classic dive map, it would have made sense for Muse to switch back into the roster if they wanted to play a bit more of the Winston. But the Ramatra comp from O2 Blast has been looking strong, and I could very much see O2 Blast want to play the Ramatra again on Esperança, and I don't know if Muse's Winston is enough to stand up to the task when it was focused so hard in the first few maps of the series.
Yeah, after those first 2 maps, I do like this call, especially since they're riding off of that momentum of the previous win with Peppy having a lot of impact being on that SIG. Maybe expecting either the Diva or the Ramatra going into this upcoming map on Esperança. You have a lot of that high ground that you could work off of. Just being able to also help heal for that backline too is going to be important here. Poker Face. They saw that Aiden was getting focused down quite a bit before Aiden had woken up and chose violence on that Zen in that previous map. Saying some of the signs here. Poker Face, get to see also the shirt right behind them. See some fans out in the crowd. Our teams here are playing at home right now. They are not playing live, but they got the fans still supporting them nonetheless, giving them the energy that they need, especially after that last map, Necro.
Yeah, and all these fans sticking around after the very first match of our day. I mean, what a banger for the Seoul Infernal versus the Seoul Dynasty, and all of these players that are in this Eastern region have so many fans out there, and you love to be able to see the support for them, especially with players that you're so familiar with. We talked a lot about how O2 Blast, they have had rosters that have ended up transcending the O2 Blast organization themselves, but for Poker Face as well, this is a team of players that we have grown to know and love over the years of Overwatch League contenders, and just continuing to try to make a name for themselves. Having a bit of a lackluster performance this stage, but pulling it together, and they are taking us to a map 4.
And rotating through what they feel like is working best for them. We've seen a lot of different comps come out, whether it be on circuit throughout the course of the last 2 weeks now, going into Esperança. We've seen different variations from O2 Blast. We've seen them stick with the Sombra, we've stuck with the Hanzo, the Tracer. Even earlier on today, we got to see more of the Junker Queen on Esperança. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that being played out here too, as O2 Blast has used the Junker Queen in the past.
They have used the Junker Queen. I think it was more for a Winston counter, much like what we ended up seeing a bit earlier today too, coming out from like Dallas Fuel in their match versus the Hangzhou Spark. I don't think Peppy's gonna want to play that though, and so I wouldn't maybe want to see the Junker Queen into something like the Ramatra or the Diva. But at the same time, what's going to be really interesting watching these two teams slam against each other, if they do bring out something like the Brawl or the Rush, is think about the number of tiny rooms that exist on Esperança. Those tight chokes, those small stuffy corners, where I don't think a Winston would want to get stuck there. So
you don't want to be
Peppy's Ram.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fodder food for the annihilation out here in those side rooms. I mean,
I would, I don't know about you, Vicky, but that doesn't sound like very much fun, especially in tiny Overwatch land.
Maybe that's why Muse got the memo. He says, "I'm just gonna stay at level 99. I'll hold my max skill okay for right now. You guys can have fun right here." But also just the fact that it's gotten so close now with Poker Face taking this dub, Peppy subbing in here. We get to see how this works out for the rest of the team, feeling that confidence after that dub. Getting set up as well. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Just Muse sitting out here, and Hidden and Aiden doing everything that they basically can to help enable the rest of this team.
They've been doing a great job, and I think that Hidden with their debut in this roster, has started to fill the gap left by Finale. But even before that, though, Poker Face, they struggled a lot to figure out what kind of DPS duo they actually wanted in this roster. Because it was Valentine Victoria for a little while. That had its own limitations when it came down to the hero pools for both of those players, which is surprising in its own way, just knowing how well that they ended up working together as a duo on the old Boston Uprising. But yes, this Valentine Hidden duo, provides way more flexibility. Hidden has been really on fire when it comes down to these big picks with the snipers. So to see the Hanzo here too really excites me about Poker Face's chances. As you called it, Vicky, it's the Ramatra versus the Ramatra.
Oh, they are zooming. Hidden said, I want nothing to do with that. Hasta la vista for real, as they're going to be able to pull up over to the side. See the Vortex controlling some of that space by the bot here. Getting that sleep as Simple gets caught by Protect. Duking it out in the mouth of that room here. The bot finally gets unlocked. O2 Blast choosing violence, taking onto the height right afterwards. Nice way for them to roll out off the rip.
Oh, that Symmetra teleporter helps so much. That was something that Poker Face was not expecting. O2 Blast using that teleporter to be able to close the distance so quickly is going to make this Ramatra composition from them just a bit more powerful. You're able to get really close to Poker Face. Even the Mei provides such an interesting competitive element with the walls, and again, working towards how O2 Blast want to play this out. Making that map architecture for themselves, become the building blocks. Be the building blocks. Be the Legos, if you will. Oh, well, and never mind.
Unless you step on them. Unfortunately, that's what just happened. That's very painful. Doing a really good job, though, at least setting up O2 Blast at the very beginning, but now only leaving Lijiang to help sustain the rest of the team. It's just not going to be enough, not even with that immortality field. Poker Face take control over the bot and clear out the rest of O2 Blast.
Poker Face able to get back on the board. They just needed to withstand the onslaught a little bit, and now you've got their chance to work past the neutral and start to take the lead. Nice Sonic Arrow from Hidden, just to see if he can scout anything out, as Prophet is going to switch off of the Symmetra. So just a bit of an earlier, I wouldn't call it cheese strat, but the Sojourn's going to be better here, except that it's not here anymore.
Don't worry, Necro, I'll follow up on that. Gets deleted immediately afterwards. The Blizzard, though, from Who Are You? Keeping Peppy stuck inside that room. Immediately pulls the trigger with the Annihilation. Looked at Who Are You and said, you thought, while Valentine cleans up the rest of the team. A nice cleanup and a nice answer from Peppy right there after getting frozen from the Blizzard.
Well, now we know why Peppy is going to stay in this roster. You called it out originally, where if we're going to expect the Ramatra, then we should see the Ramatra from Peppy as well. And even still, those were some staggers. Can you even get back in time to actually contest this before they get the checkpoint? They can't. That's a huge advantage.
The base are profiting off of this, and look at this. Having to work with from that back line. The Annihilation's also ready from Protect. The window has been called in, and Leg was so close to getting that sound barrier ready. Let's turn this around here as Aiden calls in the rally. The Nano boost onto Peppy, who is duking it out over to the left side. Lego goes down without being able to have the sound barrier ready. And getting out of Protect's area of just having the Annihilation, giving him some of that extra space while Lego makes his way back. Protect goes out. And Poker Face still coming out on top in terms of the number of advances, but Prophet inside of the side room was able to find that last hit, but Aiden now making his way right back. The rest of Poker Face have made their way right back on top of the bot.
Yeah, and this bot rounding the corner too gives even more space for Hidden to work with Hanzo. You see everybody sidestep as quickly as they can, just knowing that O2 Blast do have the reinforcements coming back to start pushing this bot forward. And the overclock too gonna open things up as O2 Blast need to start getting some meterage down on the board. It's towards the 6-minute mark here.
Lasted just long enough, even after taking a nap and going incredibly low. Was literally one shot at one point and still was able to get that last shot. Sound barrier activated here for Lego. Unfortunately cannot help him as he went down earlier in that fight. Still enough with a number advantage, clearing up Poker Face to finally shift this bot over to their side.
Right, pass to neutral does shut off the closer spawns from Poker Face. Who Are You has the Blizzard. Nice to be able to throw that down on top of Poker Face as they come back into this one. The Hanzo and the Sojourn. This has been a very stressful team fight situation. Hard to call when Hidden or Prophet with a good pick can completely swing the doors wide open.
So that space disruptor shot. Blizzard called in while the Dragons try to scrape right above. O2 Blast giving them a haircut too, and you're fighting inside that side room while Peppy has the Annihilation activated originally there. The nice wall coming out from Who Are You, but it cannot save Prophet from being in the line of sight of Valentine, who has that pulse bomb, looking to try to engage, has been able to find a very vulnerable Sumin here, and doesn't even need to send out that pulse bomb. Gets taken out by Peppy, but it's a trade-off for Hidden. Hidden's got that rally. Pokerface just have so much more to work with unless Protect could get everybody to fight him inside that room. Up to the Annihilation right afterwards and finds himself to catch Simple. Peppy gets the revenge after that rally sets up all of Pokerface to have the advantage at the end of that fight.
That Annihilation looked like it was used a little late there, but it did get out that valuable rally. So with that off the table, Lee Soo-min can actually help Protect get back up to another Annihilation a little bit faster with the Nano Boost over there to boost up some of that damage. But at this point too, that's not good. That's not good.
Valentine has had it out for Lego here, trying to make his way back. Lee Soo-min does have that Nano Boost, and Simple's been holding on to his since the previous fight. Annihilation coming in close too for Peppy. O2 Blast is just trying to clear out this bot. Time is still dwindling away. Pokerface still have the advantage ever so slightly, while Valentine had just used up the recall. Running for them, trying to control this choke point though. The Nano Boost put on to Protect, help out the survivability, while meanwhile, Peppy's got the Annihilation, he's got the Nano Boost in, he's got some Z's that he's catching here, while Hidden's gonna be able to find Who Are You. Number advantage in favor for Pokerface here, while O2 Blast are playing very split up to avoid being so close to Peppy. The Annihilation's already done for, and Lego's gonna have that sound barrier in this next engagement.
Oh boy, I mean the sound barrier is going to help out a little bit for O2 Blast to get back into things, but they also need to be super careful to not throw both the Overclock and the Blizzard into this fight. Gotta start by getting some raw picks, because as we're approaching that 3-minute mark, O2 Blast are starting to run out of some time to be able to get this bot back over to their territory to keep pushing and try to take the advantage back. And this is a standstill.
Oh, nice splitting up. Not just what's on the bot here, but trying to split up O2 Blast backline. Lego still has that sound barrier they was able to get in that fight, and Who Are You's coming in with that Blizzard as well. Looking this different angle while Valentine tries to duke it out inside this room. He's gonna be able to retreat for right now. Having this high ground here, Valentine's got that pulse bomb ready, and O2 Blast has a lot more to work with for that ult economy. Ooh.
That's
Huge shot. Huge finding Hidden right there. And with Simple being able to retaliate though, it's Prophet on the shoulder and making his way. Finding this blast with the overclock on top of it. Find out that all of Pokerface, there's heads lined up for him to take.
Now we're cooking. Now we're talking. And this bot's very close to getting that checkpoint, but this is where O2 Blast need to start putting up. Oh, with a whiff and a miss too, with a pulse bomb. O2 Blast really do stand a chance here as long as Prophet doesn't go down.
Thanks.
Trying to get that sick, turning around there. Prophet. Try to isolate. Simple over on the other side. The sound barrier from Lego's gonna be the initiator here though. Lego's taking a nap. Can't get speed boosted over to the front. Lee Soo-min does have that Nano Boost, and with the Blizzard and the Rally activated, Protect has activated the Annihilation. Everybody wants to fight here. The Blizzard's going to be able to fight Hidden. Only 3 left for Pokerface, and with Aiden and Simple going down, it's going to have to be a reset from Valentine next.
There you go. Minute and 30 left on the clock, and that first checkpoint is activated for O2 Blast. But they had to use everything in their arsenal to be able to walk away with that checkpoint. And with Pokerface working up to the Nano and the Annihilation, that is a deadly combo of ultimates that Pokerface can throw at this and take back control. So O2 Blast need to start getting picks. We're on the board and fast. As Where You is already starting to get chunked down. It's on Prophet to be able to get a pick, and now.
Oh, the threat going down, and here comes the Annihilation. Peppy melting down the backline, melting down Protect, and O2 Blast nowhere in sight. After using that Annihilation, you mentioned the deadly combo, and it's about making a statement, all right, with a tactical crouch, and now they got less than a minute on the board.
I mean, that sure was a statement. Yeah, the Nano Annihilation is just such a brutal combo. And with O2 Blast just not having anything to deal with that, even without the sound barrier, that's just a nice chair fold over, go again kind of situation. And with the Dragon Strike 2. Okay, that's not gonna get anybody, but O2 Blast, they're all split up now.
Oh, beautiful wall coming in for you, and they capitalized. They needed that here with Peppy going down. It's gonna be that seesaw at the very end. Overtime's gonna get activated here with less than 10 seconds too. They need to be able to activate that, as Prophet is gonna be able to still put in some extra pressure over on the right side. Taking on to height, as you can currently see. Aiden's right there. Overtime ticking away. They have to stay on this spot too, while the rest of Poker Face are gonna be able to hang out here. They want to be able to try to take advantage of Aiden, who's about to get the sound barrier.
Yep, absolutely. Aiden needs the sound barrier online too when Prophet and Who Are You are working up to their DPS ults. And now also protecting Lee Soo-min very close to that Nano Annihilation combo as well. O2 Blast, they just need one more fight. Prophet goes down.
Oh, and that was right when the overclock was activated here too, but the Annihilation will protect the backline from O2 Blast had the ult advantage charge in comparison to Aiden and Simple. And now the bodies are falling. Valentine and Peppy go down, and even though Poker Face won't be available for this fight, it's Overtime still ticking away. They have chance to maybe try to rush over here.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough one. Aiden's on standby with the sound barrier almost at the ready, but this bot is getting so close to that checkpoint and that victory. This is Poker Face's final fight, final chance, final match of this stage.
So close, just a crumb away, and there goes that sound barrier. It really helps out 3 here. Blizzard was calling from Who Are You, split up so much, while Lego now pops his own sound barrier. They fully rush forward onto Peppy. Valentine with the Nano boost, sending out Valentine up into the field, but only leaving him without Simple or Aiden. It's gonna be difficult. Aiden, yes, finds Who Are You. He finally goes down, but Protect with Nemesis, with the Vortex, clears out too much space. The immediate turnaround, are you kidding me? O2 Blast to the final seconds. Take the series 3-1.
That is a devastating loss for Poker Face there after such a tremendous effort heading into this final map of their stage. But so much credit to O2 Blast. That was a huge amount of distance to have to make up after Poker Face got that early lead. And they also had to withstand a full slate of ultimates from Poker Face before being able to overwhelm with ultimates of their own. So congratulations to O2 Blast. They get another win under their belt, and they still have one more opponent remaining, Shanghai Dragons, they get to face off against tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be their final match tomorrow, but that's the dub that they needed. Honestly, Protect Ram, such a scary situation to face off against. That's why we saw Muse just stay subbed out, allowed Peppy to do what he could do best for Poker Face, but O2 Blast with the seesaw of the match come out on top. Yes, they lose out on Circle Royale, but they had that advantage for those first 2 maps originally with that power of the same Ramatra.
The Ramatra has looked better and better as O2 Blast have worked into the rest of the season. It started off pretty mid, and you know, O2 Blast for a while were really trying to throw the Winston comp at their team opponents, and it just wasn't quite working out. But now with this new flavor of the Ramatra that's really been put together, gotta give so much credit to Prophet for being able to help open up all of these team fights with this space that Protect has been making for him.
Yeah, we gotta highlight Prophet as the player of the match. We talked about him a lot, and for all the right reasons. Lil P, who was tired of being called Lil P, is coming back to full force. We got to see him earlier on in the season here. You can see some of the highlights we got to see. He got a 5K right here, by the way. This is the 3rd time I get to see this, and it never gets old. Even jumping off to get into the position, finds the boost from right behind, and then gets the last pick onto Valentine. Saw it actually go down a few times too on that first map, which was a great way to kick off quite a statement from O2 Blast for that first map.
Yeah, it was amazing to be able to see like the Hanzo, the Ashe. There's honestly any of the heroes that Prophet shows up on. I feel like you're always in for such a treat. And I can't wait for an Overwatch League meta to go back to something that can show off this hit scan prowess a little bit better. The hit scans are so vulnerable if you're playing against a team that does have the double flanker, especially if you just, you know, you don't have the reaction time or such to be able to do that. And yeah, wow. I mean, and even Transcendence can't stop them. Like, sorry, that does healing over time. It doesn't keep you.
Oh, right here too. We even got to catch the Flux and he cancels 4K, and then Prophet just having a field day. Also love to see that between Prophet and Who Are You, sometimes they would cross their bullet trajectory into shooting at the same target, and it would just make an X in the middle of the air. Both of these players on the same page here, while Prophet just keeps on clicking heads right here as well. The moment that Poker Face tried to poke their heads outside the spawn room doors, it laid some time away from them. Even here though, he did have a little bit of a difficult time. His overclock did get shut down, but when he was able to unleash it, he was able to win 2 of those team fights that were detrimental for the seesaw of the match when they had no time.
Yeah, so amazing to be able to watch all of this, and I can't wait to hear from the winners, O2 Blast, a little bit more with a translation from Unknown.
바로 만나보시죠.
안녕하세요. 호야인 선수 반갑습니다.
Hello, who are you? How are you?
승리 축하드립니다. 승리 소감 한마디 해주시죠.
Congrats on your win. How do you feel?
저희가 최근에 연패를 되게 많이 했었는데 저희 리빌딩을 통해서 되게
So
조금 더
we
단단한
weren't that hot
모습을
in the
보여주면서
earlier
승리를
parts of the
가져와서
season,
되게
and after that mid-season
기쁩니다.
rebuild, we're
맞습니다.
doing a lot better.
말씀해주신
So
대로
I definitely feel good
리빌딩을
about that.
한지 얼마 안 됐는데 로스터가 바뀌고 난 다음에 첫 출전 아닌가요 오늘이?
네, 맞습니다.
So this
합을
is like the
맞추신지는
first
얼마나
time the
되셨을까요?
new revamped roster is
저희가
playing
아마
all
한
together, right?
일주일
Yep.
정도 되지 않았나.
How long have you
들어요.
practiced together?
일주일밖에 시간이 없었는데도
About
그런
like a week, I think.
보여주셨습니다. 어떤가요 팀 분위기는?
So how's the team vibes like?
팀 분위기는 정말 좋아요.
아,
Like team
그
vibes is
분위기가
really really
좋은데
good.
그 주축이 되는 그런 팀 멤버가 있을까요?
저기요. 일단
Who's like the key
아무래도
member of the
저희
squad
팀에
in terms of vibes?
그 원래 알던 선수들이 몇 명 있어가지고 좀 더 사이가 이제 금방 좋아지지 않았나 싶어요.
So I
전에
won't point out a
서울이었던
single individual, but we do have members of this
프로필
squad
선수가
that have been
조금 팀
together in
분위기에 되게
previous teams
도움을
before.
주지 않았나
So I think that's a
생각이
big plus factor in
그런
making
좋은
good
분위기를
vibes on the team.
이끌어준다라는 말씀을 해주셨는데 마지막 맵이었던 이스페란사 방금 전 한타였습니다. 굉장히 급박했던 상황이었는데 그때 조금 설명해 주실 수 있을까요?
So let's talk about Esperança for a minute. It was
네,
really
저희가
back
되게
coming down to the last
게임을
minute.
잘
Can you explain the last few
풀리다가
moments of the game?
이제 상대방이 치고 나오는 거에 좀 당황을 많이 하다 보니 게임이 계속 말렸었는데 그러다 보니까 이제 조금 저희가 되게 급해졌던 것 같아요. 원래
I think
실력에
early
비해서.
on we were kind of really
그래도 마지막에
confused,
되게
or rather kind
팀원들이
of
다 이제
lost after the
본인
early
역할들을 잘
aggressions on the
해줘서
opposition side. So it took a while to get a footing into the game. But after we did get that stabilizing point, we talked with each other a lot, and then we countered their aggression one by one, and that's how we got there.
저격수전이 정말 관객들이 정말 볼만한 그런 그림이었거든요. 그때 위도를 위한 딜각을 어떻게 열어주었는지가 궁금해요.
So we had a lot of snipers coming out today, and you opened a lot of space for the snipers.
서브 딜러의
How
이제
did you like?
선수가
What was your mindset coming
아무래도
into
좀
that?
이동기가 있는 캐릭터들로 몸으로 먼저 딜각을 열어주다 보니까 되게 위험하거든요.
네.
위험에 자주 노출되다 보니까 그래서 좀 우리 위도가 잘 쏘니까 따주겠지 하는
So
마인드로
usually as
좀
a flex
과감하게
DPS, I
자리를
move a
먹었던 것
lot around a lot. Like the heroes itself is a lot of including a lot of mobility and all that. But also at the same time, that means you're exposed to a lot of danger or a lot of opposition pressure.
그거에
And
대해선
I
어떻게
just
생각하시나요?
coming into that, I just really believed in my
제가
partner
그동안 했던 게
DPS
인지로
that
해온 게
as
많아서
the widow, they would be able
아무래도
to
그럴 수밖에
make all the
없다고
kills
생각이
while I
들긴
just
하지만
run around.
최근에 이제 다른 캐릭터들을 되게 많이 연습을 하면서 실력이 되게 많이 늘었거든요.
네.
Also, I
그래서
feel like
다른 캐릭터들로도
not just me, but us as a
인지처럼
team has
좋은
really
모습을 많이
improved
보여주지
through
않을까
playing all
생각이
sorts of different
드네요.
heroes,
그럼
not just the heroes that
그런
we're
영웅
comfortable
중에
with.
혹시
So I think that's
이런
also a really
출시거가
good
좀
plus
붙었으면
factor in the
좋겠다
team.
하는 영웅을 하나 꼽아주실 수 있을까요?
Can you single out like a single
스킬이요?
hero that like you've
네.
been really improving
들어간
on?
거는 이제 생각해본 적이 없긴 한데 이제 아무래도 최근에 좀 트레이서나 메이를 좀 많이 했었거든요.
It's really hard to single out one. But just to kind of like give a rough answer, I think I've really played a lot of Tracer and Mei recently, so maybe that.
트레이서는 아무래도 이미 좀 선수들이 많다 보니까 메이가 아무래도 좀 더 좀 특별한 느낌이 들어서 좋지
So
않을까
to me, Mei feels a little bit more special because Tracer, like already everyone plays Tracer
마지막으로
really,
질문
really
하나
well. So.
드리자면요. 너가웃 때 만나고 싶은 팀이 있는지 궁금해요.
So coming into the knockouts, which teams do you want to face
아무래도
at knockouts?
서울이나 이제 좀 상하이를 좀 만나면 좋지 않을까
I'm not really sure, but
뭔가 팀
I think
선수들도
Seoul
약간
or
다
Shanghai.
같이 의견에 동의하는 건가요?
Do your
네,
teammates
특히
also agree with that?
서울을 만나고 싶어 하지 않을까 싶네요. 팀원들은.
Well, I mean,
너가웃이
I
더
can.
기대되는
I think
그런
I give it a little
답변이었습니다.
confidence saying that
마지막으로
our
팬분들께
teammates really
인사
want to
한마디
go against
해주시고
Seoul.
인터뷰 마무리하도록 하겠습니다.
네.
So let's wrap up the interview with your
항상
goals for coming into the
응원하시고
later
지켜봐
part of the
주셔서
season.
감사하고요. 다음 경기도 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있게끔
I just really want to say I want to thank the fans for everything,
노력하겠습니다.
and I'll just
감사합니다.
keep on improving on
네,
it.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
지금까지
And that's the end of the
인터뷰
interview. Back to you, Vicky.
나눠봤습니다.
Thank you so much, Unknown. Shout out to Unknown, always being the GOAT. And who are you? Just being humble out here. Thank you to the fans back at home. Love being able to see that they put in the work that it did at the very end, too. But that's not all. We got some more Overwatch League on the other side of this break. You don't want to miss it because it's the Guangzhou Charge versus Dreamers right here.